Howdy y'all. We'll start this week's video with the review of last week's puzzler, which was how to get a big hunk of slate in the ground in front of your fireplace that didn't have any clearance around it. I had some pretty interesting responses, but quite a few of you got it pretty quickly. So the answer was ice. I had butter and saran wrap and hit it with a hammer and reassemble it, were some of the other options, which I thought were all delightful. So ice, you put the ice under the slab, and as the ice melts, the slab will slowly lower into position without you having to tilt it and then drop it in and break it. So good job on last week's puzzler. Here is this week's puzzler. So you have a 4-ounce glass and a 9-ounce glass, and you have an endless supply of water. You can fill or dump either glass as many times as you want. So it turns out that you need to measure 6 ounces of water using just these two glasses. So what's the fewest number of steps in which you can measure 6 ounces between using these two glasses? So you have a 4-ounce glass, a 9-ounce glass, and then one of them you need to figure out how to measure 6 ounces. So once again, let me know your thoughts. If you need a hint, this puzzler was actually done in a Die Hard movie with Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis. So if you've seen that movie, you will have seen this puzzle. And if you need a hint and are like action movies, you can absolutely watch that movie for a hint. So this week, or this past weekend, I went camping, and I was going to tell you that I love camping. I don't necessarily love camping. I come to the realization that I love being outdoors, and being in creation and being with God and seeing the beauty that He creates. Camping is kind of a pain. There's a lot of work involved in camping. So Friday night, we'd gone to bed, and it was probably about 3 o'clock in the morning. And all of a sudden, you hear like the cooler lid blow up, and it sounded like it came flying off, and it crashed to the ground, which of course startles you, and you realize that it's so dark you can't see like anything. So you lay like perfectly still and you listen, and then I hear something pawing through the ice in the cooler. I don't know, he's mixing cocktails for his friends. Then you hear rustling, and then you wait and you think, okay, whatever it is left. And then in a few minutes you hear the cooler lid again, and you hear ice. I'm like, so I was thinking, you lay in your tent and you're just absolutely terrified. You know whatever out there is a yeti that's going to come consume everything and start munching on your toes at any minute. And because it's dark and quiet, everything is magnified. So your mind just races. The thing outside gets bigger and bigger, and your fear just gets bigger and bigger, and your breathing, gets hard, and it's just a terrifying kind of experience sometimes to be in the dark with the unknown. So as I was laying there thinking about this, I thought, well, I'll get my flashlight and look outside the tent. And when you turn on your flashlight, amazingly, things are better. That one beam of light just cuts through the darkness. So hear these words from John 8, verse 12. It says, "Again, therefore Jesus spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in the darkness, but shall have the light of life." So during these times of pandemics and unemployment and sickness and fear and just sometimes encompassing darkness, the light of Christ is all we need to break through to that. He is your flashlight that will cut through the darkness. All you have to do is turn Him on, and He is there, ready, willing, and able to help us through these times. So the next night, Saturday night, after we had made sure all the coolers were bolted down and the food was away and we were clearly locked down for bear, 3 o'clock in the morning again, I hear rustle, 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 and I'm like, oh no. And I listen, with ears really big, and I realize that it's next door at the campsite next to us. And you hear rustle, rustle, rustle again, and then you hear there was a dad in the tent. You hear the dad rustle around in the tent. You hear the zipper come flying off, and you hear him climb out the tent. And he had his flashlight, and he took his flashlight, and he did like this, and I could see the beam zooming around the campsite. And it, came through my tent, and I just laid there and giggled because once again the light of Christ makes things better and is comforting and cuts through that darkness and brings comfort. So I hope the raccoon didn't bother his campground too much, because I was kind of tickled that he was waving the light of Christ around at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's all I have for this week. I hope you get outside and enjoy a little creation, and remember to carry Christ with you as you travel in this darkness, because he is the light that will get you through. Be well, all. Have a good week. I will leave you all with a few moments of Life on the Bog from Black Moshannon State Park here in Pennsylvania, where we were camping this weekend. Although it was raining, the creatures did not mind singing at all. It was delightful to stand and listen to for a little bit. So have a blessed week, all. I'll see you next week.